Bass solo, take one. So here we are, and whilst these vessels are tumbling towards your camera, just let you know that this wasn't going to be my first idea for a video for YouTube, but then I realised that there's bits I have to learn. It's not the making that's the problem. The making, I've done that all my life. It's the technical side amongst it all. So the rear view mirror was born. Little play on words on rear view mirror. First thing was to cut them up and get them into usable material. It was really difficult because, well, I kept crushing them. You know, they're just empty. Little homage to Alex there. And the cutting went on and on and on, as there's plenty to do. In fact, I had to edit out a hell of a lot of that. Here's Johnny. And then once I had them into sheets, I actually had something I could use then. I started thinking, how am I going to use them? Because the problem was, well, it's very, very thin, it's razor sharp, and it kept curling. Yeah, a bit of mess there as well, Jeff. So there's my mirror. And I'm going to make the frame using a baseboard and then build up from top of that. The reason for that, why, is what I had, and also I had wood that I wanted to use up first. And I'm going to use a tool now that I love. This one's made by Works, and these are absolute scalpels. They are great. They're just very, yeah, just so easy to use. One hand, bam, there you go, a bit of plunge, get in there. I do like using them. As you can see, rough, no messing. You can do it all with a circular saw, but sometimes it's a bit too fierce when you're doing a smaller thing. So I had to get out the middle section to make it a usable mirror frame, and there we go. Come on, there we go. Right, problem with this was it kept curling up, cutting me, just getting in the way, making it difficult. So I thought maybe if I make a press, get it in there, clamp it up, maybe it'll make a difference. So that's exactly what I did. Clamped it up, left it for a few days. Come back, I'm thinking, yeah, great, it's going to be really flat. Boy, was I wrong. There you go, exactly the same as always. Don't force it. So this is how I made the thicker parts of the frame. Some wood I wanted to use up. And also, you see, there's the rebase as well. No router required. This looks ugly, but it's not going to be seen. It's going to be cladded over. That's the back that you were looking at there. Clampy, clampy, clampy. Lifestyle of clampies. Oh, never enough. So I had some overhangs to cut off, which I did. There's a little note on that table saw you might have noticed there. Cut off the edges, make it tidy, make it a usable frame. Now this table saw was donated to me by a YouTube sensation, Mr. Joe Whitaker. Very, very generous. It's an Evolution. Great machine. I can't say anything bad about it really. So straighten up the edges, so I've got something to work to and work off, making it tidy. So a bit of a sand up, and then the next stage of it can begin, which is the cladding. I was using just normal little tacks, little fancy slow-mo shot there. And in my mind I was thinking about like steel cladding, the cladding iron ships, that sort of thing, folded over. And that's when I found out that these edges, they are razor sharp. So that was going to be something I wanted to solve. Going round and round. Now I've got those clean edges. Folding and tacking, folding and tacking. And also from this, when I started here, I also had to think about what's this thing going to start looking like? Because I can't have all the same labels in all the same places. It's got to have a bit of variety. It's a bit of fun eventually. You know, it wasn't meant to be a technical video at all. I chose to do something that was just fun for me to do, fun to watch. Now this is where I started folding and playing with the edges and thinking about connecting them in a way that was different to the tacks. I must also get them to flatten off as well. And so you see here I'm folding and cutting, and it did start to flat out because you're putting an edge on it, and it's the edge that makes it flat. And also connecting them with the fold, so you can see a bit there, flatten off there again. So you fold it and fold it. You can see a sheet of it there in the foreground, also I'm cladding away in the back. And like I say, the first video I had in mind was much more involved. much bigger piece of furniture. And that's when I realised I have to start teaching myself how to edit videos, how to do narrations, how not to bore the arses off people whilst trying to make something in the process. You see there, halfway through, well, more or less. Bit of variety in the labels. It's looking alright. I really don't know how it's going to look in the final thing. And edges there, and it cuts so easily, but it also cuts you easily as well. And that continued. Like I say, I had to learn a lot, so the learning curve began. And once I was looking at footage of things I'd filmed, thinking, what the hell, how the hell do I deal with this? I had to teach myself how to do it whilst moaning about it to people. Joe, Alex, you've had a few messages off me telling me I've puzzled myself. Thanks for sticking with me, thanks for sticking with it. And here we are, hospital corners on a beer view mirror, knocking them in. Of course my fingers are too big to deal with those small tacks, so a pair of long nose pliers really came in handy. And I wanted to do the back as well as the front. You know, why do a job and only half finish it? Oh well. More folding. I had to do so much folding because really it was necessary. One, it stops you cutting your bloody fingers off, but also the folds held it flat in some way. It gave it a bit more integrity than just a curly sheet of, well, was essentially metal. You make cars out of that stuff, 100% recyclable. And then there's my mirror, that's my body, there's my little camera. And I wanted to cover the back because, you scratch the back of a mirror, you haven't got a mirror anymore. And there is the butcher's knife again. Beer and butcher's knives, good combination. And then the next step, of course, to fit it into the final mirror frame. Putting it in, one corner doesn't quite fit, out comes the chisel, snip snip, and sure enough gets myself, little bugger. So in it goes. And final thing, more tacks, tack it up. I was going to put a sheet of cardboard to protect it. I'm thinking, well then why? This thing is not a brash thing. It's an object made to outlast us all. Finishing it up, putting blood all over the damn thing as well. But hey, that doesn't matter. And here it is. The beer view mirror was born. I'm glad I've done it. I'm surprised how it looks, because I had no idea how it would look when I started it. It was done just for fun, just to teach myself how to do these videos. And I'm pleased with the result. And there's me face. So let me know what you think. This is the first video I've done. There will be a hell of a lot more, because I have a list. Let me know what you think. Is it ugly? Good. Is it great? Good. Do you want to see more? Good. You want to see no more? Tell me about it. Get in contact with me. The makers community is the strongest there is, the most positive there is. Let's get on with it. Oh, for fuck's sake.